Okay, everybody. I lost a bunch of footage, and so I have to apologize for that because this is a KX450 that I'm working on a transmission, and I wanted to kind of document the process. But I lost a bunch of the teardown footage, so I'm going to start from here. I guess I've got the motor out and apart. This bike did not have fourth gear. Fourth gear was stripping over, and so that's what we're working on. And I'm going to start from here, I guess, and still take you along because it's kind of interesting. Over here is the engine. I've got it tore down and into the transmission here. And I also have it shifted into fourth gear, which was what was missing. And I want to explain to you what's kind of going on or whatever, if I can. So I'll take that gear off. Right down here, this is fourth gear. And the dogs are wore off the back. I'll show you in a minute, but you can see it slips over. When you put under a little bit of a pull, everything shifts fine by hand. You put in a little bit of a pull, and this washer, I can show you right here. If you look at this washer, you see how cupped out it is. It's really squished. And that is because I'm going to take, let's see. Yeah, I'm going to take this gear off too. Just show you. That's because on this gear, I don't know if you can see it or not, but the dogs back here, these are guys around, they're rounded. Just ever so slightly, they're rounded. And what happens when they get like that, then when they go together, both sides, this gear and the gear below it, they go together and get pressure on them, they put a lot of out pressure because they're not hook solid, they got angles, so they put a lot of out pressure in it, and it squished that washer and allowed this gear to when it gets pressure on the angle, then it pushes it up and slips over those cogs. Anyway, that's what had it missing fourth. And when you just shift it by hand, like, you didn't notice it because it shifts fine by hand and everything. It was just when you put pressure on. So anyway, got it tore down, got the parts. I got that gear I just showed you right there. This is the gear below it. The fork goes in so that the two pieces mesh properly. New washers, new clips, new this is a countershaft seal kit for putting it back together. New gasket set for putting it back together. And we are going to put it back together and fix a little transmission problem. This is the gear that the fork goes in. This is the gear underneath the gear I showed you before. And I contemplated not buying this gear because it looked pretty good, but I'm glad I did because on further inspection, you definitely see the war spots on those dogs. And we would just be right back in the same shoes. So went ahead and got the other one for this too. This right here is the new gear. And this is the old gear. See that roundedness right there? These are nice and sharp on the edges. So that's what we're checking. That's how delicate, or that's how important inside a transmission is that it's not wore. All right, here we go. Just in case any of you are working on a KX450, this is the 12 model, to save you a little heartache, remember that on these cases, these center case bolts, you got a couple of these Allen bolts inside the case and one on the outside. And there is one right down in there, and that's behind the oil pump cover. And so when you first take it apart, you can't find it, and you'll struggle to get that case apart with that big bolt in there. So just remember, you have to take your oil pump cover off. There's a bolt behind there. Counterbalancer. This is the counterbalance shaft right here, and it's got a weight that goes on there yet. But there is a spot, there's only one spot the gear will go on here. So that has to go on that spot, but then, if you'll see, the 2 punch marks have to be lined up too. Right there. Now that was an interesting thing for me because I couldn't really see those punch marks without using my phone to blow them up. So I just counted the teeth, how far apart I was. I blew it up with my phone and counted teeth, how far apart I was, and then just clicked it till I had it and sat it down in there. So, but anyway, I got it. So right there she is. That just letting you know this shaft, this gear only goes on here one way, but you still have to be timed with your crank. The counterbalancer weight, it only goes on one way too, so you really can't get it wrong. But just remember, when your piston's at top dead center, the weight will be at the bottom. And it's just an easy way to remember it. All right, so now it's time, good opportunity to get the timing chain in. Drop that through there like that. Loop that around there like that. Get it hooked on that gear. Think about so. Lay that down like that. All right, we'll put the cylinder on now. Come on down with your bad self. All right, time for the head gasket. Sure we get both guides in there along with the chain. That, and like that. All right, time for the head. Something going on right here. There it went. Just like that. There's some on the outside too. Okay. Just like that. Right there. All right. Now we'll go get them tightened. Around 40 foot-pounds is what this torque set. There. All right, time to install the cams. This is the exhaust cam. Now I can't see this without my phone to blow it up with. Blow it up real big, but there's a mark in there, and that is the mark that we want to get lined up with the top of the motor here. Find our mark. I don't know how. Just gonna get close, and then I'll have to get my phone out and see what I can see. All right, see if I can show this to you, if you can see it in the light. But right there's a mark. Somewhere right in there. I looked at it with through my magnifying glass, my magnifying thing, and there's one right there, a little punch mark. That has to be lined up. And I set my top dead center by lining these punch marks up on these gears too, because this is also top dead center. I did my little still off of here. I like that. She ready to rip? Okay, so there's the cams in, cam hold downs, all torqued, timed. Ready to put the flywheel on, get the side buttoned up. All right, well, there's the engine all back together. All right, I'm gonna see if it has fourth gear. Hey everybody, thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe. Don't forget about the dirt bike drawing, it's still open. If you want to buy a ticket, there'll be a link in the description below to the PayPal link. $20 buys you a ticket for the dirt bike drawing. See you the next ride.